In darkness, the fight for our survival begins. We were simple folk back then. Just a podunk mining town with a beat-up burger joint as our pride and joy. Then that damn meteor ended things as we knew it. Life would never be the same again. See, it wasn't the crash that got us. Inside, there was some sinister seed, mutating anything it touched into gruesome creatures. There were things coming out that you wouldn't believe. They were stronger than anything we've seen before. Whole cities were reduced to rubble. We lost contact with the outside world. As life turned to chaos, the old mine became our refuge, our new home down below. But something from that initial impact had been dug up. An ancient weapon, the engine. Now armed with the relics of a forgotten past, we stand at the edge of our destiny. In these tunnels, we rekindled our spirit. We trained. We prepared. Our unity, our determination, our only light in this never-ending dark. Today, we emerge not as victims of our fate, but as builders of our future. This is our only hope.
Welcome to the first of its kind SidusPad IDO Insights show. My name is Dan and I'm the CEO of Sidus Heroes and one of the co-founders, and we welcome all of you guys to the exciting interview with the Engines of Fury, which is the first ever SidusPad IDO which we are conducting for our community. Here we go, we've got some match there. So welcome guys, we have David and the Soul from Engines of Fury. I kindly ask you guys to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, really excited to be here. My name is Saul. I'm the CEO and founder at Engines of Fury. And yeah, we're making the top-down extraction shooter and launching soon. So really excited and starting to take over the world with it. So I'm now giving it to you, David.
I am known as Designer Dave. You may have seen me on YouTube or perhaps played one of my games that I've worked on over the last 25 years, World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, Oddworld Stranger's Wrath, Wasteland 3, and a whole bunch of others. I've been in the mobile and the AAA space for a very long time. Maybe it shows, maybe it doesn't.
Sounds exciting, David. Yeah, definitely. Dedication on your side, for sure. Gentlemen, if you don't mind me to ask, I will ask you the first question. What was your favorite childhood game? What was the favorite one that you played and was a big fan of? David, maybe we can start from your side.
Well, it actually started when I was around 8 to 10 years old. I don't remember exactly because it was the Dungeons and Dragons boxed set. And it had, you know, the dwarf was the cleric and like all the stuff was sort of predefined, but it gave you a little booklet and you could write in the booklet and make your own characters and classes and world notes and things like that. So that's what I started when I was very young, is I started making my own worlds. And once you sort of make your own world, you kind of want to share that with everyone. And I've been doing that ever since. So it's definitely Dungeons and Dragons and most tabletop RPGs.
That's an exciting one. Yeah, definitely. I love that game as well. Spent quite a few months in there. Great childhood times. Question to you. How did you and your team decide to create your project as an Engines of Fury? What's the story behind it?
So, I mean, the whole idea of Engines of Fury came in around 2020. I think, you know, by then extracting shooters were already on their rise, and we really liked the mechanics of scavenging, of having to extract, the old tense combat with it. And I think the overall harshness of the game and high skill that you needed to have to be really good at it. We decided to make something like that, but to make a totally new subgenre of it. So to make it a top-down RPG-like, and also to leverage on the blockchain and adding additional features to it. So we decided to add things like item ownership, the tokenization of in-game economy, and also allowing some interesting mechanics for user-generated content within the game. So that was the start, and I think that, you know, now it's evident that we made a really good bet on it. There's tons of, you know, first-person shooters now. There's tons of third-person player shooters now in the market and even in Web3, but we still don't see really good ones when it comes to top-down or RPG-like. So that gives us, I think, really great confidence that that we're still in the lead and that we're going to take the top here.
Yeah, I think on top of that, I want to add that the RPG elements for me mean that you need to have a really strong narrative, really strong characters and story. And that's something that we're working on that I think a lot of the other people working on games are missing right now. They just sort of throw something out there. We are actually building a whole world. And when we're done with this game, there's going to be so much more coming in the future. So that narrative, I think, is really important, especially to me.
Sounds very exciting, guys. And so it leads me to the first question that I haven't asked you yet. What was your favorite childhood game? Because I would imagine by building Engines of Fury, you got inspired by something that was a big part of your childhood, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do remember the first one the most. You know, I'm coming from Lithuania, so basketball is the second religion there. So the first games that I remember was like NBA Live 98 or 99. I was around 6 or 7 years old. So that I remember very clearly, but I also remember spending way too much time on Diablo 2, on Warcraft 3, on World of Warcraft. So that was a big part of my, probably the teenage years until I had to kind of try to tone it down and focus on my exams, but that was a huge part of my life. And I think, you know, that's one of the reasons that I feel really honored and happy that we have David here, who was actually part of those iconic games back then.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So, David, obviously, you know, getting that answer, it leads me to the question, what happened in your life to make you decide to pursue game development in general? Because it seems like you are an expert in many different fields when it comes to the game development and gameplay core in general. Maybe you can share some insights about that.
It's not a terribly great story, but I was in college and I was running out of money. And it was pretty clear that I was either going to go into deep debt, like most people who live in the United States have to choose either deep debt or get a career early and effectively drop out. So I was living with 3 Chinese roommates at the time because that's the way that you can afford to live anywhere there. And they were all playing StarCraft. So I looked at the StarCraft box and checked the game out, and I loved it. And I remembered Blizzard. Oh, they made Warcraft 2 and they made Warcraft 1. I loved those 2 games. So in California, if you call 411, you get information, and then I asked for the number for Blizzard Entertainment, which was the name on the box, and sure enough, they were there. So I called, I asked, do you need anyone who knows Macintosh computers? Yes, we do. Could you come in? We need QA testers. So I went down, did an interview. Everyone was dressed like me. Everyone's in jeans and shorts and t-shirts, and everyone was having fun playing games. And I'm like, okay, I found my people. So I did the interview, nailed it, got the job in QA, moved from QA to level design eventually, and then I turned it into a career. So I'd always loved games. Like I didn't think that there was an opportunity to actually make games until that point where I was desperate and I was like, where can I start a career? And so I started a career in games.
Amazing, David. Any legendary product, such as Engines of Fury, and you guys are beginning an exciting journey, has a legendary team behind it. I would love to know more about the people behind Engines of Fury. Maybe so you can share these insights with us today.
Sure.
Who are these people?
There are many, actually. Now we have around 40 people working together, and I think the quality of the game, of our communications and of our marketing, it shows that we have those top people gathered in the team. So the team really varies in its experience. We have people that have worked on many successful projects from AAA game studios like David here, but we have also others that have been working for Ubisoft and other companies and made additions to Assassin's Creed, to Metro Exodus, to Wastelands, and many other games out there. Also, there are many people that work with blockchain projects, and from the very start, from like 2016 and 17. So that's me. That's a couple of my colleagues. We've actually helped Matic Network, now Polygon. On the marketing side, we also have been working with Arweave, with Mintlayer, with Noya, with D-Ray. So I mean, many projects that have seen huge success. and we had the chance to actually work with the founders, see the team, see what they have been doing to make the project successful. And overall, I think the whole team shares vision of what we can do in this market, in this time. I think now is the time to make some really, really big changes in the Web3 gaming market and in blockchain as a whole. So I'm really excited overall for what the team would have and for the overall product that we have managed to deliver.
And how did you end up calling yourself Engines of Fury? What's the story behind that?
Actually,
that's a baby for David. Brains behind the lore and game, yeah.
It's kind of a super giveaway of some stuff.
No.
Okay.
Then stop it. No. Then no.
Yeah. So it's deeply narrative related to a big reveal that comes like season 4-ish. So I don't know that it'll make sense later.
So maybe, David, you can share us a bit of a story behind the Engines of Fury and its lore, particularly because all the gamers, they love the lore book in general, and they would love to get these insights from you guys. Like, what was that inspiration and who is the major creator of this lore in general?
Yeah, so it started with Saulius's core idea, and I built on it from there. The idea that we're in a post-apocalyptic world and there's this engine that's sort of helping humanity. So from that, I extrapolated a whole backstory that I don't want to go too much into because those are cool reveals for later. But basically, when that meteor struck, it contained a mutagenic virus, and that virus started spreading throughout the Earth, converting flora and fauna into all sorts of nasty monsters. One of which will be featuring in the cinematic that's coming soon. But from there, the only people who survived are basically the people who were living underground. And in this particular area where we're starting, called Stoneport, those were kind of backwater hicks who were still mining during the 90s. So there you get to meet all sorts of cool characters like JJ, who's like a metalsmith, and Raggy May, who's like a half Chinese, half American from Georgia, sort of an assassin character. And it's going to be an epic storyline. I really can't wait to share it with everyone. And there's like so much stuff planned, like the backlore, we will have reveals going for years, and those reveals are going to be epic every time they happen, and I think people are going to be really excited to see what happens there.
So when the actual alpha will be available, guys, like what are the estimation dates and when can we get an access? I can't wait for it.
Good question. I mean, the alpha is actually there, but still in closed circles. Like, we are working with tons of our, top tier partners when it comes to like influencers, streamers, guilds. That's both actually in Web 2 and in Web 3. So we're getting a lot of amazing feedback. We're getting a lot of, suggestions, what we should add, what we should keep, what we should polish. It's really, really at a good place now. And for public, we're planning to release it already in a couple months, or maybe even sooner than that. So keep tuned, because we're going to surprise you.
Yeah, let me just interject with a soon trademark is the only thing we really should say. This is game development at the end of the day. And in game development, things can go wrong all the time. Servers can go down. You never know what's going to happen. And so I always am wary whenever someone promises an exact date. So I think it's best we just say soon. We're working on it very hard. We want to make sure that it's perfect when everyone gets it.
Absolutely. You don't want to overpromise because that's the problem with the crypto industry. Many people promise things and they don't deliver it. So it's better for you to actually release it and then tell to people, here we go. A bit of a surprise for you. David, you have more than 25 years of working experience in blockbusters and AAA titles in general, right? What do you think will differentiate Engines of Fury from other AAA Web3 games in this particular market? Because it's a highly competitive place, right? It's not like we're back in 2021 anymore, where there are literally there are no products in the market at all. Now, obviously, we can see some great titles, coming up with games like Illuvium and Godzilla and Shrapnel and a whole bunch of other Sidus. What will basically make you different? What's that uniqueness? Maybe you can share it with us.
Well, I'll start with we've been building that entire time. The bear market came and a bunch of people ran away with bags of money, and we stayed to build the game. So I think that's the number one differentiator between us and 90% of the projects that we saw going into the bear market. But in terms of what makes us truly different is we've taken the aspects of a top-down shooter and the sort of Tarkov style of survival and combined them very well with some action RPG elements from, let's say, a Diablo style game. And I think that's going to be the major differentiator for gameplay. But in terms of narrative and storyline, we're actually telling a story. And most of these games are just like they throw you into a world and then you kind of grind. We're not doing that. Every move that you make is going to be important. The narrative and the story is going to follow along with you, and you're going to meet really cool characters and see really cool things and events happen. More and more of those will be added over time, so that for the alpha, it's a little bit sparser than I would like, but when we get to beta, there's going to be a lot more. So those are the main differentiators.
Exciting. Looking forward to it, David, for sure. So will there be any perks for early players? Any advantages or maybe a little benefits that people will get if they start early?
I mean, aside from the fact that they're getting to try Engines of Fury early, which is awesome in its own, of course we will have, of course. So we're planning tons of, airdrop campaigns. There's going to be really interesting mechanics of, players playing within the game and climbing the leaderboards by achieving certain achievements, quests, killing each other or others, and doing a lot of crazy stuff. So that's going to be there also. And overall, there's also going to be very limited amount of special edition NFT weapons that are going to be able to be crafted and then minted. So that's going to be really, really important for the early players, I think. And there's tons of other little surprises around all that. But I guess my marketing team would really hang me if I would tell everything now, because they've been planning it for ages and we are releasing it as we go. So keep tuned, guys.
Understood. Yeah. No more questions about that. That's it. Let's move to the play to earn mechanics. David, I would love to know a little bit more about the play to earn technique that you're going to integrate into your gameplay. What are your thoughts? Where is that going to be available, and how would it actually work?
Yeah, so I prefer the term play to own. So because the game is free to play, anyone who comes and plays the game can find all these things in the world and build up their supplies and stuff. It's at the point where they decide either they're done with the game or they've got too much stuff and they want to put it on the marketplace to sell it. That's when they have to get the Fury token, and that's when they can start converting things into NFTs, converting their characters into NFTs, converting their hideout elements into NFTs, and selling it on the marketplace. This is basically a mirror of my experience with Magic the Gathering Online, which was the first online card game for Magic the Gathering, wherein you would actually buy the packs of cards, and then when I was done with the game, I was able to sell my entire collection for like $1,500, and it was I just have a very memorable experience of that because it was money I desperately needed at the time, and I want people to have the same experience or better with our game. So it's more a matter of play to own, and then when you decide you're done, you can convert to Fury. Now there's all sorts of reasons to use Fury in the meantime, including when you do decide to check out, or if you're having a good time playing and you want to make sure that you keep your items. Converting them to NFTs means that they're in your wallet, they can't be taken away from your character. When you're only free to play, you can lose a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of risk and reward in playing the game only free to play. Fury helps a lot with that.
Understood. Well, that makes perfect sense to me, at least. I'm sure the community is going to watch this video, will understand that aspect as well, but they're all looking forward to experience that, interesting mode in general, because the extraction mode is quite unique itself, and I'm sure it will come with some surprises for them.
That's the season 1 plan. So season 2, there's going to be an entire player run economy, and players will be able to build guild houses and then use that to put up mercenary contracts and bounties on other players. And once you can do that, other players will then be able to take those bounties, take those contracts, and if they succeed, turn them in to get Fury from the original player. So there'll be an entire player run economy within the game at that point. and the auction house and marketplace will start to be developed at that point too.
I like the idea of bounties because I've been playing in the last few months, weeks, Bones and Skulls, and they're putting a lot of emphasis to these particular functionality as well, which is pretty interesting as well. I mean, if you combine it with the Web3 technology, that will definitely make a huge difference. If it's going to be based on the sort of a blockchain or layer zkVM, whatever you use, guys. So maybe you have a couple of comments about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only that it makes sense, but imagine like psychologically the excitement and the rage, like when you can actually put a bounty on someone who just like killed you or just was like, I don't know, camping somewhere, like saw you on low health and just sniped you. And then you can, hey, I'm just now going to exterminate you and going to turn my whole guild on you. And they are going to hunt you and they're going to try to kill you every day. So, I mean, there is tons of stuff that is actually exciting about this whole player run economy and the bounties and mercenary groups and guild systems. I think we're really changing the landscape of how you can leverage blockchain and how you can create your own content within the game just with this particular feature. And I'm really excited for the season 2 just because of that.
Excellent. Great details. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Where do you think your major audience geographically located? Like, what do you think? Is it like more of a Southeast Asia or European region or North America? Where do you think the players will come from?
We think that they will come from everywhere, but I think it's important not to think, but to actually track data. So that's what we're doing, and that's what we're seeing now, and that's how we're basing certain decisions. So from what we're seeing from these subs to our alpha, from our web traffic through the subs to our newsletters to our socials, where the people are coming from, where is the majority of interest, it's quite spread, but I can already say a couple of top 5 or top 10 leaders in the audience. We're seeing quite a lot of course, Asian countries. So we see mainly China, South Korea, Indonesia, we see Russia. On the Europe continent, we see a lot of UK and Germany. And then we have a very, very big audience in the US. And quite surprisingly for most of us, it wasn't the expected case from when we started, but we're seeing really huge surge in Latin America. I think that's really related to the fact that they're like really crazy about that kind of, really esports-y type of games and really competitive type of games. So I do really think that it's going to be a super big market for us also. And this was something that we were initially actually not expecting. So it came to us like a nice surprise. So I think these are the key areas, at least for now.
Communities in South America are super active these days, and I'm sure they will definitely contribute to your project a lot, especially if you engage our communities in a nice way. What's your engagement strategy? Like, how do you plan to engage new players into your game? Like, are you planning guys to stream it or and use the bloggers to stream that for you? Or are you planning to conduct some competitions with some nice token giveaways? What are your plans?
We have a lot of plans. I think what is really important in Web3 gaming is that you have to really know how to communicate to both audiences, right? Because you have your usual native Web3 gaming audience, but you also have to attend to the standard gamers, and you have to know how to onboard them, because that's where the actual masses are, and that's where still very few games found ways of how to actually attract them and onboard onto blockchain gaming. So I mean, in our case, first of all, we're going to be on major storefronts to be accessible to those players. We're going to be partnering, as I said, I think previously, with both Web2 legends from esports, top esports teams, top streamers in various countries. So they will be continuously streaming, playing our game, talking to their communities about us. But we're also having the same on the Web3 gaming side. So I think that people who are following Engines of Fury already saw pretty much each and every of their favorite gaming influencers in Web3 talking or playing or discussing our game, because we're working directly with all of them. Apart from that, there's going to be tons of tournaments with huge cash and token prizes. There's going to be airdrops for like social campaigns and that kind of stuff. The list goes on and on and on. Like, you really have to do everything, and I think we're on the way there. And David will add another killer feature, I think.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, it's an important thing to remember that the free-to-play aspect of the game means that we can be on platforms like Steam and Epic and so forth, because there's no connection to the token.
You're spilling the beans, man.
Oh, sorry, what? Am I not supposed to say that? Never mind, strike that from the record.
That's okay, let's do it. It's the first SidusPad. It's first SidusPad launch. We're excited to
boys,
be here.
we're gonna
Let's
share
spill
some
some
exciting
beans here.
information.
Okay.
Absolutely. We need more of that. Don't listen to Saul. Let's get into it, man. Full on.
It's a secret tactic, basically, to get onto Steam like that, because most of them can't do it. They'd be booted off. And because we're free to play first.
Absolutely. Well, we went through the same process. I mean, to get listed in the App Store and those platforms, you really need to think about first of all, the engagement that you can potentially get when it comes to the players, and you have to choose strategically choose the geography of your product as well, because that's really important. But I'm sure you won't have any problems with the players, because the lore itself and the whole gameplay looks very exciting. Guys, what are the challenges to build such a complex game? Like, maybe a question to you, David. What do you think are the biggest challenges?
The biggest challenge is that it's multiplayer. If it were just a single player game, it would be a whole lot easier. As soon as multiplayer is added in, there's all sorts of networking and servers that are involved. There can be desyncs, there can be crashes on the server side, there can be crashes on the client side, there can be things that the client sees that the server doesn't, and so forth. So that networking part is the biggest challenge, because in a game where if you die, you lose your stuff, those errors can be very problematic. And the reason that we're being so very careful with the alpha, and when we finally release the alpha, is because we want to make sure that first-time user experience is very positive, as opposed to frustrating.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have only one shot. If people get impressed, they will stick to you and become very, very loyal. That's the matter of fact. They will be supporting you like crazy. So let's move to an interesting topic as well, which would be in relation to your Fury token. What do you think will happen to your token when you get listed? And I think you're planning to have a listing closer to the second part of April. Correct me if I'm wrong, or the first part of April. Maybe you can share some insights and info.
What will happen to it? That's a trick question, isn't it? I mean, really, we have to be careful with this. But okay, man. I mean, first of all, from the sheer amount of hype and in the community, from the sheer amount of hype of top tier influencers, investors, guilds, VCs trying to connect with us, trying to help us, trying to collaborate with us, I think we're very confident with this upcoming launch. Also,
that's good.
What gives confidence is, first of all, guys, you are helping us. You, Dan, and with your whole team and with your whole experience, are accelerating us and launching us on SidusPad. That's a huge boost to the confidence that I have. Then we're also launching and having the same acceleration from ChainGPT, guys. There's a third one that's not announced yet, but it's going to be a banger also. So all of that, I know that the token is going to be launched at top tier exchanges. And I mean, when you take all of that, and the question is what will happen to the token, I think that it's going to be a huge buzz in the market.
Let's call it fireworks. Boom,
Fireworks, booms. And I think everybody knows what will happen when we have a team like that, support like that, network of QLs like that. So I really can't wait. And the launch is planned soon. Not going to tell the dates. I'm leaving David to be spilling the beans apparently in this interview. but it's going to happen really soon. So keep tuned in, and we're announcing it quite soon.
Yeah,
Quite intrigued to hear who is this new player, new partner as well. It seems like a very interesting business partner of yours who is going to help you to do well as well. So let's wait for the announcement. Hey, I'm sure you will publish it very soon.
When it comes to token launches, there's always that initial bump, and then a bunch of people start selling, and there's that dip. And it happens every single time. So I just want to emphasize to everyone that this is a deflationary token. And when the game's in full action, the value of Fury will only go up. So don't you dare try to pump and dump us. I swear. This is my pet peeve, because we are in it for the long haul, and that token is only going to go up in value from here. So good comment. Don't even try.
Well, you guys survived the bearish market, same as us. So it made you strong as never before. And I'm sure when people realize the potential of such a great project and the product itself, it gets us to the next question. That's what I was going to ask you: is when should we expect 1 million players in your game? When do you think it's going to happen?
Oh man, in my wildest dreams, 1 million players for a game that has no prior game existing, and for a relatively unknown team. Yeah, you know, there's a few big names, but it's a new development studio, and that means there's a lot of questions. Generally, it takes about a year for you to see the first 1 million players, unless there's some massive word of mouth and something crazy happens, and all of a sudden everyone wants to play it at the same time. So is that possible?
Of course, yes. Of course it is, and that's why we are here, man. I think, yeah, definitely 1 million players is a high bar to reach. There are a lot of talks of like different games of actually reaching this benchmark. There are ways of how you can reach it faster, and there's ways of how you can reach it with actual and organic users. So I think we are talking about real organic people actually playing for the sake of fun, not playing for the sake of doing something for some quick material gain. So of course, David is more than correct about everything, but I think with our current hype and with the things that we're launching that are going to be still, it's not the game that we're trying to mimic off of someone. We're not trying to make the next put some words on blockchain. Like, the game that we're making is already sort of new in its genre, right? So I think that really gives us this advantage of differentiation, that we can create a new game that could attract lots of players from both Web 2 and Web 3. And let's make a bet. How soon is 1 million coming? I'm saying 6 to 9 months, and we can do it.
6 to 9 months.
All right.
Okay.
We all remember.
1 year, but let me say this: it's a unique combination of genres that does not exist, as far as I'm aware, quite yet. And even if there are a few indies who are doing it, there's no one in Web3 doing this. So if we are successful, we will be the first in Web3 and the first, I think, in games in general to do it properly. And so everyone will be copying us. But 9 times out of 10, they're going to go to the original. So the chances of being 1 million in the first year, I think, are very good. 3 months? I'm not so sure. That makes me uncomfortable. But
we all have to go through these we all have to go through this experience, I guess, and it's a part of the journey, right? So we all remember games like Genshin Impact version 1, right? It wasn't the biggest success, but these guys had a dream, and where it is now, it's the biggest action RPG generating billions of dollars in revenue.
I think the dream was to clone Breath of the Wild and add gacha to it.
But they did even better, eh? It's quite enjoyable now, definitely. Yeah. Guys, do you have anything else you would like to comment or add today, perhaps to the Sidus community in general? Everyone is excited. We're all waiting for this exciting IDO and you guys getting listed and releasing your alpha and stuff, but maybe you have something else to share.
I'm just super happy and really excited. I think, I'm really lucky to be part of this, huge company that we have, to be part of the of the partners that we've gathered, that you guys, and I mean, I'm so happy that we made this, friendship then, and you've been helping us a lot already, and now we're launching on SidusPad. Like, we've been following Sidus for a long time. We see what you guys do. We know that you know how to do things. We see the quality in your games, in your communication, in your marketing, and in your strategy. We're so happy to be part of this whole group of really like top tier OGs of the market, launching this new project. And I think launching at the best time, at the biggest upcoming cycle in crypto that anyone has ever seen, and leading it with this launch. So just really excited, and thank you guys for having us, and really excited to begin. Yeah.
Beautiful words. Thank you so much, Saul. David, maybe you have something else to add as well?
Yeah. So I've been in crypto. I've seen 16 projects that I've personally helped with. 13 of them are basically gone at this point. I just want to emphasize to the people out there who are really excited about games like this, be wary, but know that we're staking our reputations on this. We absolutely want this to be a success from a game standpoint, and to have lots of players come in and enjoy the game. So, beware false prophets, but know when you're being told the truth. And I hope that comes across here.
Yeah, it is a privilege for us to have you guys on our SidusPad as the first IDO. We are very selective, and trust me, we had over 150 applications, and you are the one we wanted to work with. And I'm really excited about the product and the lore and the professionalism behind your team. We even had a physical face-to-face meeting with Seoul and Hua Hin in Thailand, right? So that was a great catch-up. Definitely, it was great to see you as well. And we are looking forward to your product, guys. We are looking forward to your IDO. We wish you all the best. We wish you to become the blue chip of this industry. You will get as much help as you need from our side and Sidus community in general. And keep in mind, we are very supportive. So if something goes wrong, we will be the first to help. So all the best, guys. And thank you so much for your time today. And have a good day.
Thank you, guys. Tune in. Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye. Bye.